Hello and welcome. In this video, we will be solving all the MCQ questions of the practice exam 1. Before we continue, you can click on this link or scan this QR code or go to this video over here where all the question 1 to 15 MCQ part is explained in detail. I will use the calculator and shortcut methods and solve these problems provided all the options are given because this is the electronic part. Now, how can you solve this? First, let's take our calculators. All you need to do is type it out. Type this in 1 minus sine square. That is sine x, close the bracket, and then square it up. And divide it by, again over here, we have sine x the whole square or sine square x. It's the same thing. But if you put a square inside this, then it's a different thing. It's sine x squared. Whereas now it is sine x the whole square or sine squared x. Instead of theta, we are using x. Now what you need to do is change it to radian mode. If it's not changed to radian, you can see this r that means it's in radian. If you see shift and mode, if you press shift mode, then you can see over here radian degrees. If you type 3, in default it's in degree mode. But whenever you see trigonometric functions, press shift, mode and 4. Now what will I do? I will just press calc and take the value 2. What's the answer? It's 0.29. So I'll write it out over here. At x is equal to 2, it's 0.209. Now what next? You need to look into the options and start solving them up. Now 2 cosine x the whole square. Okay, this is only for the cos. You can also put a multiplication symbol if you want, or you can put brackets here. It's the same thing even without that. You just put 2 cos x, close the bracket and square it up. It'll be the same. Now calculate it at 2. Does it match here? No, it doesn't. So let's go to the next one. Let me remove this 2. And does it match here? No, it doesn't match. Let me go to the cot. Now how do you get cotangent? Cot is 1 by tan. Close the x and close the bracket and then square this up. Let's check. Yes, this is the correct answer. And over here 1 minus sine is cosine. Cosine by sine is cotangent, not tangent. Sine by cos is tangent. So this will be cotangent squared because there is squares over here. Yes, that's the correct answer. Let me see secant. Secant is 1 by cosine. X, close the bracket and then square it up over here. And you can see that is also not the correct answer. It's option C. What about this one? If it's numbers, it's pretty easy. Just write it out. What is cosecant? It is 1 by sine x, close the bracket, and then we will square it up over here, minus cotangent is 1 by tan. And close the bracket and then square it up. Again, close the bracket here. And let's see what's the answer. It's 2. So here, option B is the correct answer. Over here it was option C and over here it's B. How about these problems? Here now, it's a big problem. They have given us the figure as well. So we need to find this value x and y. Let's read the problem first. A geologist measures the angle between one side of a rectangular lot and the line from a position to the opposite corner of the lot as 30 degrees. So she's over here and this is the opposite corner. 30 degrees is the angle. She then measures the angle between that line and the line to the point on the property where a river crosses this is at 45 degrees. Okay, this one over here. This is the river, you can see. She stands 100 meters from the opposite corner of the property. That means this distance, the hypotenuse value in this figure is in the rectangular lot is 100. This is 100. How far is she from the point at which the river crosses the property line? So basically this distance is what we need, isn't it? But before that, what do we know here? We know this is 30, so this is also 30 degrees. And 45 plus 35, it's 75, so remaining is 15 degrees here, it's 15 degrees. And can we find this distance here? We can easily find, this distance x, because these both are opposite sides. Look here, if I consider this triangle, It's a right angle triangle. Why? Because it's rectangular lot. So these are all the edges are 90 degrees, isn't it? So what trigonometric function can relate this? This is 30. Sine is opposite by hypotenuse, isn't it? Sine 30 degrees is equal to opposite, that is unknown value. I'll consider it to be x by hypotenuse is 100. So just take it to the other side. It'll be x will be equal to sine 30 degrees multiplied by 100. Once you find that, then can you find this value y? Yes, you can easily use this is 15 degrees, right? It is cosine. Cosine 15 degrees will be equal to adjacent. Adjacent is what we find over here divided by the hypotenuse. That is not known. That is what we are solving for. That'll be y. So let's use our calculators and find the answers. Yeah, first thing, sine 30 degrees. Now, since it's in degrees, you need to go back to degree mode, shift mode 3 over here, not 4. 4 is for radians, 3 is for degrees. Multiplied by 100, the answer is 50. Now here what do we have? 50 divided by y, but this swaps. It'll be y is equal to 50 divided by cosine 15 degrees, isn't it? So we just put that in the calculator. So it'll be 50 divided by cosine 15 degrees. It's already in degree mode. Close the bracket. Press equal to. The answer is 51.76. That is 51.8, option C. That'll be the correct answer. Now what about the next problem? A design consists of two rectangular areas as shown in the figure. And what is the exact value of BAC? Now what is the exact value of sine of the angle? Sine. 60 plus 45 is 105. Sine of 105 is what we need to solve for. In the calculator, sine 45 plus 60, that will give you BAC. The answer is, let's just check which is the correct answer. It's a root 6 plus root 2 by 4. That is option C. That's the correct one. Find the values of sine and cosine. This is pretty easy. Let's just use our calculators and solve these up. If you look carefully, this is in degrees. So I'll do that first. 1 by cosine is secant. 1 by cosine, 1275. Close the bracket. It's minus root 6 plus 2. We don't have minus root 6 as the first, but we have over here. Can you see minus root 6? And root 2 is positive. This option B is the correct answer. The second question, but what about the first question? Let me write it as it is for now. That is pi is shift and the symbol here divided by 2. I'll close the bracket. This is not the correct answer. Why? Because we are in degree mode and pi means it's in radians. So press shift mode and 4 and now solve it up. This is the correct answer. It's last option D, root 6 minus root 2 by 4. In the next question, we have to find the double and the half angle identities, sine 2 theta, cos 2 theta, or sine theta by 2 or cosine theta by 2. This double angle identities are very simple. You can use directly the calculator to solve them up, but the half angle identities, we have to use the rule, the formula, and then solve it. They have told you cosine theta is 3 by 5. How do we find theta? It will be cosine inverse of 3 by 5. 3 divided by 5, that is equal to 0.97 and so on. Now instead of writing this value and then typing it again, I have got sine 2 theta, right? So I know theta value, theta is this much. So sine 2 theta is the answer which I just obtained. This is 2 theta because the answer was theta value is 24 by 25. So the correct option will be over here, option B. Now, if at all you had to solve, say, cosine theta, then again I'll just find cosine inverse of 3 by 5. Now the theta answer is stored in the answer. If I press answer equal to, it's the theta value. I will just write cosine 2 times theta. You can just write them together. It will automatically be understood as multiplication. And you can see the answer is minus 7 by 25. What about, say, this is the correct, no, there's no answer over here. But because they are told us to find sine 2 theta. And we can find half angle identities, but we have to use the formula. So we will do that next. Here, they have given us tan theta equals minus 8 by 15 and 90 degrees to 180 degrees, isn't it? How do we solve this up? First of all, let's find theta value. It'll be tan inverse. When we take tan to the other side, it'll be tan inverse minus 8 by 15. Close the bracket. And here, theta is this. Now, theta is very important because we have to find cosine theta. Let's write the formulas. If you want to find sine theta by 2, the formula is like this: square root of 1 minus cos theta divided by 2. Whereas if it was cosine theta by 2, the formula is like this: 1 plus cosine theta divided by 2. It's plus here, whereas it's minus if it is sine. Now we will have to find sine, so I'm going to use the first formula. It is 1, let me use the fraction 1 minus cosine answer. And that is divided by 2. Or you can find cosine theta first, write it down, and then find the final answer. But I'm just doing it directly. And the answer is option D. Why? Because it is square root 17 by 17. But what if it was cosine? Now this is, yeah, sine theta by 2. That is what we were asked to find. The option D is the correct answer. What if it was, say, cosine theta by 2? Then let me find the theta first. Shift tan 8 by 15. This is the answer. There is another way. Find cosine answer, that is theta, cosine theta. It is 15 by 17. Now use the formula here. It will be 1 plus 15 divided by 17. That is divided by 2. And that is 4. See, it is option C. But here we were told to find sine theta by 2. So it is minus here. That's the correct answer. Option D is the correct answer. So this is how we can easily solve it using calculator. Now it's all the matrix problems which can be easily solved in calculator as well. Mode 6 gives you matrix. Now we need to find the inverse. So A, let's give us matrix A1, option 1, and then it's 2 cross 2 matrix, that's option 5, and let's type in the matrix 8, 5, 6, 4. After you type it in, press AC. Never go back to mode and 6 again. Let's press shift 4, and then let's go to matrix A, which was just now stored, that's an option 3, and find the inverse, which is just below the mode setup option. That's the inverse, and the answer is 2 minus 5 by 2, or 2.5 minus 3 and 4. You can see the option is C. What if it is 3 cross 3 matrix? Doesn't matter. Mode 6, because I'm filling in the first matrix now. When you do a new problem for the first time, you can go to mode 6, but not after that. Now it's 3 cross 3, that's option 1. And let's type in the values. Minus 1, minus 1, minus 3, 3, 6, 4. And last row we have 2, 1, 8. So once the matrix is saved, just press shift 4 and let's select the matrix A, press inverse option and press equal to. Let's see which is the correct answer. It's option A, isn't it? So it matches with option A. So that's why the second one, it's option A. It's just that filling the matrix will take time, and then just press this inverse symbol. That's it. Multiplying matrices is also very easy using the calculator. Let's use a calculator and solve them up. All you need to do is mode 6 for matrix, and let's type in the first matrix. First matrix is A, that's 2 cross 2, that's option 5. Let me write it: 3, 4, 1, minus 7 and 1. And the second matrix, press AC, don't go to mode anymore, shift 4 and then dimension and the matrix B. What is the dimensions here? It is 1, 2, 2 rows and 3 columns. Yeah, it's option 4 here. Now the best part is, if you put the wrong option, you can easily understand how many columns, rows and columns are given here. So this is correct because I can see the options available. 5, 2, minus 8 exactly fits over here, and minus 6, 0 and 9. And press AC, Let's go to shift 4. Matrix A is 3 multiplied with shift 4 and 4. And here we go. The answer is minus 9, 6. And that's option A. AB is multiplied. Be careful what they're asking you. If it was B cross A, it's not possible to multiply this. B, A is not possible. Only AB is possible for this particular matrix. What about the next one? Here, again, I'll press mode 6 and fill in the first matrix. Matrix A, that is just two rows, one row and two columns. There is no option 1. Let's click down. Over here, you can see option 2. It's 1 cross 2. Now let me type it 3 and minus 5. That's it. Let's press AC. Let's type in the other values. That is from shift 4. And now dimensions for the matrix B. It is 2 cross 3. Now that is option 4. But we already saved the previous one. Right now we have to we have to re-enter the new one. It will be 4, 0, minus 2, 1, minus 3, and lastly we have 2. Press AC, shift 4, 3 multiplied with shift 4, 4 because it's A cross B, A multiplied by B they have asked over here. And the answer is 7, 15 and minus 16. You can see it's option B. That's the correct one. What about this one here, linear programming? Now there is a trick rather than graphing or anything. You can just check which values gives you the maximum and minimum for the given given condition. This is the objective function, right? This one. So what I mean is, let's put over here in this objective function, let's go to computation mode, mode 1. 3 multiplied by x. X values are these, f of x and y, right? So 10 plus y is 1 here. It's giving me 31. Minimum value is 1. Let's try. 3 times 0 here for the second one plus 1. Y is 1. It's 1. This is correct. But let's try the other ones. I'll just show you why it's wrong. So here it is 4 plus 8 and it's 20. It's wrong. I'll not go to do the second one. What I'll do is I'll go to the next third option. It's 3 times 5 plus 0. That is 15. That's the maximum. Let's look into the minimum value here. It is 0. 3 times 0. Sorry, plus 1 here. It is 1, which is error. And you can try the last one as well. 3 times 2 or minus 3 directly. And the answer is 3, which is error as well. So the first option is the correct one. What about the next problem here? Same thing. X is 2 minus 4 times y. That is again minus 3. And the answer is 14. No, let's go to the next option. It is x value, that is not minus, it's just 4 minus 4 times 1, positive 1, it is 0. What about the minimum value? It is 4 minus 4 times 4. Is it correct? Minus 12. Yes, it's option B. That's correct. Let me just try the other ones. Here it will be 3 times minus 2 and we get an error. What about the last one? It's 5 minus 4 times positive 2 and it's minus 3. So option B was the correct one. That's about linear programming. And here they're asking us to write it in the standard forms. There's another trick. Write the given question as it is: 2x squared minus 24x plus 40. Calculate this at a particular value. You can just take it as 0 because 0 is very, very easy to calculate. Or even if you don't calculate, these two dissolves and only 40 remains. Now type in all the equations. Now I'm not going to type the first equation. First equation is 2, but second equation I'm not going to write because y is equal to 2x squared and all that. So here, whatever the answer is, the x must be there, not the y values. So it's either option A or C. I can eliminate the other options. Let me type x minus 6 the whole squared minus 32. Calculate at the same value 0, and yes, this is the correct answer. But let me just change this to 3 and then I will show you it will not be the same. X minus 1 the whole square minus 7 here. And look at this. This is minus 4. Option A was the correct one. What about this? If you put Now here it's, see, you have to take this y squared to the other side, 12y to the other side. It's going to be minus 3y squared plus 12 minus 12y is equal to plus, sorry, I'll write it over here rather than telling it out. So here it'll be x is equal to minus 3y squared minus 12y plus 18. This is the concept. Now here when we put y as 0, these both go, 18 will remain. So what I'm going to do is I'll directly take the option B. Why? Because I know this has to be rearranged and x will be at one side and this part will be rearranged. So it will be y plus something. So minus 3 times y, I'll write it as x alpha x plus 2, close the bracket and square it up, minus, sorry, it's plus 30. Calculated at 0. Answer is 18. Yes, this is the correct answer. That's option B. Write the equation of the circle. Suppose an unobstructed radio station broadcast could travel 120 kilometers. Assume the station is centered at the origin. So now this is the radius, isn't it? It could travel from the origin. So I'm not going to solve anything. X squared plus y squared, I know. Just square this up. 120 squared. That should be the answer. It's 14,400. It's option A. X squared plus y squared is same for all the equations of circle, but this radius varies. Let's look at the next problem. A stadium is located about 35 kilometers west and 40 kilometers north of a city. So here the north, south, east, west must be known. North is up, south is down, east is to the right, and west is to the left. 35 kilometers west, somewhere over here, and 40 kilometers north, somewhere over here. So 40 and this is 35. Suppose an earthquake occurs with its epicenter about 55 kilometers from the stadium. So this is the radius. R value is given as 55. See, this is the origin, H and K, right? So now we have all what we need. We have to just write the equation. So it'll be X. Now look at this. It's the left side and up. So H value will be minus 35 and K value will be positive 40 because it's going up. But when we write the equation, the X value, instead of minus, we write it as plus 35 the whole squared plus it'll be Y minus 40 the whole squared. That is all equal to the square of 55. That's it, square of 55. So we will use the calculators and check. You can easily verify these two values. So 55 squared will be 3025. See, it's option A. Yeah, that's the correct answer. These two, just from the origin, where the origin is located, we can figure it out. But this is, radius is 55, so just square it up. It's 3025, the option A. Let's go to the next one, graphing ellipse. I hope you remember whenever we add up, it's an ellipse. Look at the first graph over here. They've given you the graph. The bigger axis is A, that is the focus. From here, midpoint 0, 0, it is going to 5 units up. So A value is 5 squared. A value is 5. The A squared value below Y must be 5 squared. That's 25. Why Y? Because it's along the Y axis, isn't it? Y axis, the bigger axis, major axis. So 25 will be below it. It's either option 1 or 2 or D. But we know for sure that this must be plus, so A is already eliminated, so it's only B and D that might be the correct answer. But what about the focus? It's 3 here from the center, so 3 squared is 9, so option B is the correct answer here. What about the next one? Write an equation for an ellipse that satisfies the set of the following conditions. Vertices is given as minus 2 and 5. So let's think about it for a while. Vertices is minus 2, x is minus 2 and 5 somewhere over here. 14 and 5, so let's assume that is 14. So here we have minus 2 and over here we have 14. Here we can find the midpoint of these both. It's 14 plus 2, it's 16. 16 half is 8. It must be, from here you should count 8 and get the midpoint. But I don't need that because there's a shortcut. If you look into this carefully, I can write it out over here. 14 minus 8 and then find the exact values and everything, A and B values. But the easier way would be, look at this vertices carefully. It's 5 and 5, right? and co-vertices are 6 and 6. So the center has to be 6, 5, whichever repeats. It won't be 5 and 5, 6 and 5, 6 and 6 in the second. They'll be either x and y separately. So 6 and 5 are basically the centers. If you know the center, it's not enough. We need to know which is the major and the minor axes. But here they have luckily told us the vertices is along over here. That's the x coordinates. So the orientation will be along horizontally. I mean, not the vertical, horizontal axis, x-axis. So here x is gonna be first, no matter what. So now over here the center is 6 and 5. So x minus 6 the whole square plus y minus 5 the whole square. You don't need to solve all of this. I know it's 8, the distance is 8, it'll be 64 and so on, but before solving more we will look into the options. This is wrong, it's x plus. Over here also it's plus. Here it is minus and minus. But look at this, major axis is x minus 6. It has to have a bigger power, bigger value, not this. This is wrong because it's having 16 and 64 at y. Whereas option C is the only correct and reliable option. All the others can get easily eliminated. So we can, find trial and error methods and solve the correct answer for this. What about hyperbolas? The first one. Now I'm not going to do the entire methods. It's already done in the main video. Here, the center is 0, 0. Okay, all have 0, 0. That doesn't help us. But look at this. These are the vertex points, this and this is the vertex. From 0 it's 8, so 64 is very important. From 0, it doesn't matter in hyperbola that the vertex or this first value must be bigger, the second value will be small. No, a squared doesn't need to be bigger than b squared. Only c squared, the focus points, are the biggest. Here 0 to 8 is 64. That will be below the first part and it's along the vertical axis. So it's y squared by 64. It's either first or the second option. It can't be anything else. But I know hyperbola is minus, not plus. So it's only option A that is the correct answer. I don't even need to go any more further. Why? Because from y squared by 64. That's it. Look here. We have got focus and the vertices. From the vertices, we have to first find the center point, the center, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'll be, okay, it's not 5, it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it's going to be 5, 2, 4 over here, it's in the middle, and that will be the center, that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 6. Now if we have this and it's along the vertical axis, horizontal axis, x-axis, so it'll be x minus 3 the whole square plus y minus 6 the whole square. So we got so much now. Let's see which option matches with this. By the way, let's write the a value. From here it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be 25. 5 squared is 25. This cannot be right. Why? Because it's x plus 3, but 25 was there. Wrong, it's not 25. This must be the correct answer. Let's check. X minus 3 the whole square by 25. Here also we have. Now here I made a mistake. It's minus, isn't it? Why? Because it's down. So minus and minus will become plus here. So this is correct. Option D is the correct answer. Please be careful when you're writing the standard form. If you had minus, see, this is minus 6. It'll be plus y plus 6. Here we have some interesting problems. An airplane is flying with a airspeed of 310 knots on a heading of 50 degrees. 050 means it's from north. Now this is, imagine that's 50 degrees. And this is the plane, which is 310 knots. And a wind of 78 knots is blowing from a true heading. True heading means from the north, 125 degrees. This much is 90, something like this, 125. And this is the wind, that is 78 knots. Then let me just clear that off and let me write what do we know. This was the plane, 310, and this was the wind, that is 78. So from here we know that's 50, and from here total it was 125. So this angle between these two vectors would be 125 and 125 minus 50 degrees. So generally what we do is we keep it in a single quadrant. So because that this wind is throughout, so I can even write like this, the wind, that'll be 78, and the angle over here would be 125 minus 50, that is 75. So it's alternate angles over here, it's 75 degrees. So I know so much, I can easily find the resultant magnitude, so I can find the resultant vector. Now here we know the included angle and the two vectors. The opposite vector, the resultant vector, can be found out by the law of cosines. R squared equals, but I'm just going to take the square root on the other side to remove the squared, will be 310 squared plus 78 squared minus 2 times 310 times 78 cosine the angle of the included angle, that is cosine 75 degrees. Just put in the calculator. Here we have square root 310 squared plus 78 squared minus 2 times 310 times 78 times cosine 75 degrees. Close the bracket. And here we go. It's 299.44. And now easily we can find out that's the correct answer. But how do we find the angle? Now we know this resultant is 299.44. We can use law of sine. Law of sine is if you have sine, say this angle 75 degree, opposite side must be written down 299.44. That will be equal to, what is the other angle we need? We need this angle, isn't it? So if you find this angle, then we know how much will be the resultant from the north. We can easily find that out. So if we want this angle, we need to know the opposite side. Yes, we know that. So sine, say I'll take this as x divided by 78. That's it. So that is law of sines. We take 78 to the other side. It will be sine 75 degree. It will be whole thing inverse, sine inverse, because it will be sine x is equal to 70, sine 75 divided by 299.44 multiplied with 78. Now let me just take shift and sine inverse of all this. Close the bracket. It is 14.57. Now that is 14.57. That is over here. Let me round it off to 50 because I can see it's all whole numbers. 15. Let's take it as 15. So basically here this is 15 degrees, but we know from north till over here it's 50 degrees, right? So it is 50 degrees minus 15, that's 35 degrees. This is the correct answer itself. It should be 35 and 299.4. Let's try the next one. A runner's resultant velocity is 8 miles per hour due west. It's east is right, west is left. Now that is 8 miles over here. With the wind of 3 miles per hour, that's 3, north 28 degree west. North is over here, west is to the left. It's 28 degrees from here. Okay. And that is 3 miles. What's the resultant vector? Let's find the resultant vector over here. What is this angle now? You know, this much is 28. So what will be the remaining angle? Total is 90 because due west means on the axis. So it'll be 30, it's 62 degrees here remaining. So we will just use the square root of 8 squared plus 3 squared minus 2 times 8 times 3 cosine 62 degrees. We'll just put that in the calculator and we'll get the answer. Square root of 8 squared plus 3 squared minus 2 times 8 times 3 times cosine 62 degrees. Close the bracket. And it's 7.1. Let's look. Yes, 7.1 miles per hour. Here they have only asked the magnitude. There's no direction involved. So that's the answer. What about vectors? Vectors can be easily solved in the calculator as well. Let's use our calculators here. Now to find the magnitude, they have asked to find the magnitude. I'm not going to use the vector mode and everything. Just the square root of minus 9, the whole square will be positive 9. It's the same thing, you know. So I'm just going to use the number square plus 4 squared The answer is square root 97, which is not there. It's 9.8. See, it's 9.8. This is the answer, option D. What about the next one? 7 squared and 2 squared. It's square root 53. You can either have a decimal point or in radical, that is square root 53. How do you find the projections? Projection, you need to remember the formula. Now, what is the formula exactly? It's projection of u onto v. Now, projection of u onto v, that means this is u vector, it is projected on the vector v. Okay, so this is the projection part. So projection u onto v will be given as the dot product of u and v divided by the magnitude and square, and then you just multiply v as scalar. So u is only used once, the dot product, then everything is magnitude and multiplying. So here, what is u? U is 3 and 6, positive, positive, whereas v is minus 5 and 2. Let's use calculators here. Now, you can type both the vectors by mod 8. First vector, the dimension is 2, so it's option 2, and it is 3 and 6. Press AC. Don't go to mode vector anymore. Shift and phi, you get vectors. Let's put the dimension of the second vector, that is again 2, and it is minus 5 and 2. Press AC. Now both the vectors are saved. I'm going to solve it directly. I mean, yeah, you can try to solve how much you can. So here, this doesn't work. The division won't work anymore. So I'll do the first one. U, that is phi. 3, dot product is again shift phi 7, that's the dot product, shift phi b. Now this is entirely divided by, see, modulus can be given as shift hyp, that's the absolute value, the magnitude. Okay, you can directly get it by ABS, that shift and this hyp symbol. Of what? Of the second vector, mod phi b, close the bracket. I've closed it twice, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to square this up. So this second down part is squared. Then press equal to, over here you're getting minus 0.1034. How about I'll just write multiplied by as well. It's better where, yeah, we just leave it so much. I'll write this down, minus 0.10344. Now multiply this with the vector v. What is vector v? So this term, let me just clear it off. The answer over here, it's saved. Multiply it with minus 5. So the answer is minus 0.517. Now which is the correct answer? You need to solve all of them. See, this 9/3 is wrong. It is way more than 0.5. This is also, you know, it's more than 3, 4, something like that. And this one is 0.3. It's option A. 15 by 9 is very, very close to 0.5. We can check that by multiplying this negative 0.10344 times, what is the second value? 2. It should be negative 0.208. Let's check this. Minus 6 divided by 29 must be the same thing. Yes, it is the same thing. So this is the first answer. Now, if at all in your answers you have two same first part, but the second part is different, you write it in terms of orthogonal, then what you do is, all you need to do is 3 minus these values. See, it's 3 minus 15 divided by 29. So the answer is 2. It's over here you can see the fraction, it's 72 by 29. So easily you can eliminate the other options. What about this one? The same thing. I'm going to fill in mod 8. The first vector 1, it's 2 by 2. It's only 2 dimensions, so it's 6 and 1 because there's nothing. Let me write 6 here and 1 because there's nothing here. Now for the second vector, shift phi, dimensions, second vector, 2 dimensions, and let's type it in minus 3 and 9. Now both the vectors are saved. Shift phi, the vector Now look at the formula. It is vector A dot product shift phi 7 shift phi 4, close the bracket, and let me just open the bracket here as well. The dot product is done, divided by, what about this, shift hyp, and here we have v, that is second vector, shift phi b, close the bracket properly and then square it up. And here we go, the answer is negative 0.1. So multiply this with minus 3. If you multiply this, it's going to be 0.3. That's 3 by 10. That's the answer, positive 3 by 10. What about this? It'll be minus 9 by 10. Yes, that's the correct answer. So it's D over here. I'm not going to do the second part because it's just that if you do this, 6 minus 3 tenths, you are going to get 57 by 10. And this is how we can check it out. And the last question in the MCQ part, it is to just write this following. You know the x value, y value, and z value are given. You can write it as vectors by mode 8. The first vector, it's a three-dimensional vector. Let me type the values in. Minus 9, 4, and 3 AC. And then shift phi, the dimensions of the second vector is 3 dimension. Let's type in the values. It's 6, minus 2, and lastly we are minus 7. And then shift phi, dimensions of the third vector are 3 dimensions as well. Minus 2, 2, 4. Now what is the form you need? Minus 8 multiplied with shift phi vector A minus 2 times shift phi vector B plus phi times shift phi vector C. That is option 5. So the answer is 50, minus 18, and 10. That's the last option. Third option. The last problem as well, we can do it in calculator or manually. You can see it's 6b, so this b vector is multiplied 6 throughout. It'll be 36 minus 12 and 7 times minus 42. The next one, it's plus 4 times c. I'll just multiply c, this is c not z, by 4. It'll be 4 times 8 minus 8, and it's again 8 and positive 16. And lastly we have minus 4 times a, that's going to be plus 20. And then we have, see, now I have multiplied minus already, so I'm going to write plus here. Why? Because I'm multiplying this minus already. Minus 4 is multiplied with minus 5, so this will be plus and 20. Minus and minus changes 20. And then we have minus 4 times negative 4 will be positive 16. And lastly we have minus 4 times 3 is 12. That's minus 12. So these are the vectors. Now look in the first dimensions only and solve them up. 36 minus 8 will be 28. And then plus 2 will be 48. 48 is the first one. Minus 12 plus 8 will be minus 4. 20. Next one. Wait a minute. Yeah, 16 plus 8 is going to be 24. It's going to be 12, my bad. It's minus 24 minus 12 is positive 12. And last one, minus 42 minus 12 will be minus 54. And over here it's going to be 38 negative value, negative 38. So this will be the answer. You can see it's the option A, that's the correct answer. So this is how we can easily solve all the MCQ parts. For the writing part, please scan this QR code or use this link, go to this video. All the problems are solved in detail. I hope this is helpful. All the best for your exams.